Hi, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about the ability that nature has to move you into the next phase. When you're feeling stuck, you're probably in the same environment. You're probably waking up in the same bed, going to the same schedule, going to the same gym. You're probably actually stuck. You're probably moving through the same routine again and again and again. For those who aren't like that, you're thinking the same thoughts over and over again. You're loop thinking. So even if, let's say, you're a nomad and you're traveling, you're still going to coffee shops and then going to the library and then finding a gym to shower at. Like, you're doing something the same over and over again. What happens when we get stuck, when we get habitual, is that we end up closing or codifying our identity. We end up thinking this is who I am and this is who I always will be. When you have that loop thought over and over again of I'm stuck or things are never going to change, guess what? Your mind is not going to look for opportunities. Your brain is basically like the motherboard computer. It sends all the messages to your body. So when you say I'm stuck or nothing's ever going to change or it's going to be like this forever, your whole body gets those messages, which means your eyes don't look around for new opportunities. Your heart does not open when a possibility shows up, and you will not see something new. So, whenever I go into nature, I always go in with an intention. Having an intention is so important because what you're doing is you're sending, like an arrow, you're sending your energy towards something. You don't have to know what that is. You don't have to know what's going to show up, but having an intention, like I don't want to feel stuck anymore, or I want to process this relationship I have with a parent, or I have to figure out if I want to quit my job or not. Putting an intention out to nature allows what needs to show to show. So nature, for those of you who don't know, I'm an eco-psychologist, which is basically the idea that ecology has a lot of the same processes as psychology, but ecology just does it better. Nature does it much more naturally. Humans have figured out a way to fuck up our own very natural, primitive, intuitive systems. We found a way to close it, to isolate ourselves, to disconnect ourselves from it. So by going back to nature, you actually are able to open yourself up to a process that you are already internally wired to do. And then doing that in nature, nature shows you what you already have inside of you. Nature shows you where you should already be looking, whether that be a landscape of desert or the forest or the ocean. It doesn't matter. All nature has is systems to open you back up to yourself. So going in with an intention into a walk, a swim, a run out in nature. I'm not talking about suburbs, which is really nice to be out in the trees in those blocks, but that's not the same as really immersing yourself in nature. A couple things happen when you're there. One is the sounds of nature. So please don't put in headphones with your music, but the sounds of nature have a specific vibration that lowers cortisol, balances your hormones, and brings you back into your intuitive mindset. And just being out in nature for 2 hours, hearing those sounds, you don't have to pay attention to them. Just hearing those sounds will reset your body to, again, allow you to open, allow you to see, allow your mind to be more flexible. So that's one. Number two, your feet on the ground, taking your shoes off and putting your feet on the ground. There's an electromagnetic field within Earth that pulls out all of the anti-radicals in your body, all of the things that are creating inflammation, creating mind fog, creating any rigidity in the body. It relaxes it, it opens it up, it takes it out, which is really cool. And and I'm saying this as a coach who charges a fee. Nature is basically free therapy and it knows intuitively what you need. So please go out and do that. Make sure that you're doing that at least once a week. So a third thing that's really beautiful about nature, and this is specifically if you're walking with sticks, the man who created EMDR, which is a trauma therapy that uses both brain hemispheres, was actually modeled by the sounds that we make while walking outside in nature. That what it does is as you're walking, your brain is picking up on the different sounds coming from all around it. and it's moving the energy, it's moving memories, it's processing trauma like this by going back and forth between the two hemispheres. So by going for that walk, going for that hike, especially with hiking sticks, you're starting a natural process of the brain to begin ping-ponging stored energy and then moving it out. It's really cool. Lastly, just observing, using your eyes to observe nature with that intention of, should I quit my job? Should I move states? Should I stay? Should I be in a relationship? How do I, how do I let go of this broken heart? All of those things nature has gone through as well in some way, in some capacity, in some metaphorical way. Nature also makes decisions all the time. Nature is also always moving. Nature is always recalibrating and reprocessing things. So by going out in nature and just observing what nature is doing, you don't even have to do this consciously. Your mind is going to pick up on ways that nature is answering your question, that nature is going through the exact same situation as you. And you're going to have new thoughts. And those new thoughts being like, well, what if I tell my boss I want to take a 6-month sabbatical? Or what if it's not the relationship that's an issue, but I'm just not happy recently, or I would really love myself a lot more if I was doing the things I loved all the time. How do I make sure I do that? You have those new thoughts when you're in nature, and not because you're a genius. Sorry. It's because nature is doing that, and it's entering in your subconscious and it's being reprocessed up into your conscious, and the answers coming through. So nature has a lot of answers for you. And just go out literally once a week, 2 hours, 3 hours. Let yourself have that weekend outside, especially now that it's warm out. Give yourself that chance to be held by something much wiser than you, and answers and things will start coming through. Anyways, I hope that was helpful, and have a great day.